Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Heroes Manufactured Presents Cosplay Heaven. My name is Holly Wolf and I am your host today. Welcome. I hope you enjoy this show. Just a quick, make sure you tune in to some of our other great shows like our Comics Vault show, our Movie Minute, and our gaming show, Game Changers. So today we have an amazing cosplay guest who I am super excited to present to you guys. We are the first episode in on our Cosplay Heaven show, and I wanted to welcome my amazing friend Mickey here with me today. Hi, Mickey.
Hello. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm super excited. I'm great. Thank you.
Yay! Awesome. So, really quickly, before we get into everything and have an amazing discussion about cosplay, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your cosplay and all that cool stuff.
Sure. So my name is Mickey. I'm in my 20s. I live in Toronto. I've been cosplaying for 10 years. So I've been in it a while. Yeah. Since I was 15, I've been doing this. I go by Baeged Cosplays online, so you can check me out on any socials. You'll be able to see any of my work there. And I really love doing it. I love making stuff.
Amazing. That's wonderful. I mean, I hope you do. I mean, that's what cosplay is, right?
Yeah.
It's an amazing creative expression. And yeah, so 10 years. That is a
10
very
years.
long time.
Yes, it is.
What got you started in cosplay?
So originally, like all 10 years ago when I was in high school, I stupidly signed up to do the high school fashion show that we did. And I signed up to be a designer. And in my mind, I was like, oh, this will be great. I'm going to base all of my designs off of superheroes. It'll be awesome. I'll just make superhero costumes. And then I didn't know how to sew. So when it came time to actually making everything, I was like, oh, I got to do this now. So I had to learn very quickly how to sew, how to do everything. After I got the skill set there, it was just kind of sitting in the back of my mind. I went with one of my friends to Fan Expo and I saw everybody dressed up and I'm like, you can do that. And then that was it. That's how it started.
It's very similar for me, actually. I remember seeing cosplay for the first time and I was just floored, right? I was just like, oh my gosh, like
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, people do this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Same as you though. I took some very like basic sewing classes in college, and that was it. Like that was it. So it was there, you know, but not at all. At all.
Like you have the skill, you just need the spark, you know?
Yes, and for me, math wasn't. You know,
yeah, math ain't it. The only math that I was like ever really good at was like geometry, which makes sense for like sewing and pattern making. Everything else was just.
Oh, you're lucky. Me, I was I didn't like math, so I'm a drama and a theater kid, right? I was like, that's not what I signed up for.
I was an art kid, and I'm still an art kid, so I get
it.
Get
exactly. Yay! Well, again, I'm so happy to have you. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know we're so busy with quarantine, you know?
Yeah, so busy. Oh, so much going on.
Tell us a little bit about some of your cosplays. We actually have some really amazing images of you. So let's kind of go through those a little bit just to kind of get more of an idea of what you've done.
Absolutely. So should we start with, let's start with Link, I guess. Okay. Legend of Zelda. So this is one of those costumes. Yeah, I love this costume so much. This costume came out of a bet that I made with myself. I wanted to see it. Yeah, I wanted to see if I could make the shield. It was my first time ever working with Worbla. So I wanted to see if I could make something recognizable and also good out of Worbla.
Right.
So I made the shield in like a day or two just to see if I could do it. And then I was like, well, I have this. I might as well cosplay Link. And then I threw the rest of it together.
That's amazing. Yeah. Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite series. So I definitely appreciate any Zelda cosplay, obviously. I love seeing it so much. I don't know if you get this, but like whenever I see people with like emblems of video game things that I love, like or people wearing things that are a video game reference, I want to talk to them. Yeah. And I always feel like I'm going to be that weird, awkward person that's like, no.
I'm
Yeah.
always that weird, awkward person. Like, I love it. I love it. When my old job, when customers used to come in and they'd be wearing like Zelda shirts or anything with any Nintendo, I'd be like, you're the one. We're gonna be friends, you and I.
Let's have a conversation, you and me.
Yep.
I've done that at like 6 a.m. at the airport in the mornings, and I'm like, I should not. I'm
This
so
is, like, really
rude.
inappropriate, but I'm doing it anyway. What am I doing?
Right? Exactly.
Yep.
All right, we have some more photos of you. Let's
Sure.
discuss them. What's another one that we have?
I think you have my Demogorgon one.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness, from Stranger
From
Things,
Stranger
right?
Things. Yeah.
When did you do this?
This was last Halloween.
Oh my god.
I was talking with one of my friends, who she doesn't cosplay. She's a little bit nerdy and she doesn't cosplay.
Okay.
And we were trying to figure out a good Halloween costume for me that would be
Oh my
recognizable by like
right.
cosplayers and nerds and also people who aren't nerds. So I was like, oh, I could do 11 from Stranger Things. And she said, why don't you do the Demogorgon? And I said, oh my god, you're right. So I did.
It's perfect because yeah, it's super creepy. Obviously, that's terrifying.
Yes.
But also, I feel like it's fully covered, so it's warm. Like in case it's a little cooler, like on Halloween.
Absolutely. The only downside is that like I do have to cover my face in some mesh, so it's not amazing visibility, but you know it looks really cool, so it's kind of worth it.
That is insane. I remember seeing you start making that, and yeah, I was automatically terrified. Did you ever get anyone that had any like phobias or anything kind of freak out?
I've had people like freak out, and then once they realized that it was me underneath, like harmless kind of girl, just like underneath, it's like it was more admiration than anything else. Although while I was shooting it, because that photo, it's very dark. That wasn't editing, like getting the light. We went at like, I think 10, 11 o'clock into the middle of a forest, which was not my smartest move. But we did do that. And there were other people just hiking around. And to like have me emerge out of the forest. Oh my god, I can only imagine what they were thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely scares some people. What the heck? That's amazing. Oh my goodness. That's great. I quite enjoy that. All right, what's next? We also have...
Who else do you got? I think you have Revy from Black Lagoon.
Oh, yes. And this is an anime, correct?
This is my favorite anime. It's my favorite character from my absolute favorite anime.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's an older one. Not super duper old. I think it's over 10 years old at least. But it still has a little bit more of a cult following. And it's also, this is one of my most recognizable and one of my most comfortable costumes. So I wear this to conventions all the time, especially summer ones. As you can see, it's kind of
exactly. It's something that I'm sure you can easily move in. So it's perfect for summers. Of course, here in Canada, we have some pretty hot summers. Even for Fan Expo in September, it can be scorching.
Yeah, and surprisingly so. I always do this where I plan like a heavier costume for Fan Expo because in my mind I'm like, it's the end of the summer, it's fall, and then it comes around and it's like 30 degrees, and I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, I once wore latex dress and then latex thigh-high stockings to Fan Expo
in the summer.
Yeah, September. It was terrible.
Why? Oh,
it was absolutely terrifying. And
I latex in the winter, and that was awful. I can only imagine what it's like in the summer.
Yeah, I instantly regretted my decisions. Scarred me for life. There are cosplays that do that, right? Like just.
And it's like, wow, I can't ever wear this again. Not in this time.
Nope, never again. Next, we have something really awesome, and again, kind of a little bit more like Halloween-y. Is Morrigan, right?
Morrigan from Darkstalkers,
Yes, this is amazing.
I love this costume so much. I can't wear it to conventions though. I only wore it once, and I've got like quite a wingspan. So
right, yeah.
Lots of bumping. It's great for shoots though. What can I say about this one? I was meaning to cosplay this character for a really long time, like for years and years. And then when I started dating my boyfriend, he really likes this character. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Now's the time as any. So I just made it, and I made his day.
He pushed you to really get to it. Honestly, she's been on my list for quite some time as well. And even when I saw that image of you again today, I was like, oh, dang it. I need to
You
do
absolutely should. You should do it.
It's on the ever expanding
Mhm.
list.
Like, oh, I'll get to that. I'm definitely cosplay that in like 7 years, but I'll get to it.
Right. I believe I already bought the stockings for it like a good solid year and a half ago.
Okay,
So
good.
that tells you,
where
you
your
know.
mind's at with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you mentioned like you can never wear it to a convention,
And
and I see that happening so often. Is there's things that work amazing for photo shoots, but
Mhm.
of course wearing them to conventions,
It's
just a
different.
big no. So yeah, I can see that. Anything with like, yeah, wings or big props or things
Mhm.
that kind of just jet out from your body. I feel like we as cosplayers have all learned, again, like the hard way,
Mhm.
to not do that. And then whenever you see like a newer cosplayer or just somebody who decided that they were going to do such a big and bold, amazing piece, you just see them struggling, like
Like,
walking.
ooh, I remember that feeling.
Yes, exactly. You're like, ah, never again.
I've learned from my mistakes. I'm an adult now.
Yes, exactly. Talking about big builds, we have
Oh,
some Metroid up
yes.
next, and you are really
I am a big Metroid fan.
big
Big Metroid
Metroid
fan.
fan.
Big
Yes.
into it. Yes. This was like the dream costume. This was my magnum opus, and I
Oh
made it
my
a couple of
goodness.
years ago. And most of my suit has fallen apart at this point because it was my first armor build, and so I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh
Like,
no.
none. This photo makes it look really good and a lot more impressive than it is. But if you see it in person, it's just it that's not it. But I did feel really awesome wearing it. And this is another costume that is so difficult to wear to conventions, but I did it a few
Right.
times anyway. Just like when they had the Samus Returns game come out, I wore it
Uh,
to. I did wear that one to Fan Expo because they had like a preview of the game, and I'm like, wouldn't it be so cool if I was dressed as Samus and played it? And so I did.
Amazing. But no, like it's yeah, it's amazing. But it's it's funny that you mentioned it in person. It's not the best. It's like 5 foot
Yeah,
rule, you know?
yeah.
Like
Oh, I love the 5 foot
it
rule. I
looks
am her
great.
biggest
Everything's
fan.
great. Nothing's falling apart. Everything
Yeah,
is perfect. What do you
yeah.
mean?
The
And then you
color's
get
perfect. It
close.
fits me well. There's no what safety pins? No, look away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shh. No, nothing's about to fall off my entire body. Like
Yeah, what are
everything's
you
fine.
talking about? This is fine.
Everything is fine. No, I've definitely been there where I pre-test all of my cosplays now and walk around with them, walk in them for a hot minute because I've made the huge mistake of going to conventions and not fully wearing something for
Mm,
more than 5 steps,
yeah, and then
and
it like breaks on the floor.
it just starts, yeah, to just fall apart, and you're like, oh no. You just look like a hot
Whoopsies.
mess.
Yeah.
It's
I've
terrible.
been doing this thing the last couple of years that like has saved my life. And one of them is making sure I can get it at least the bottom half on and off by myself.
Right.
Huge. So important. Don't realize it until you've been in the same thing for like 7 hours and you're like, I haven't eaten, drank, or peed.
Yes.
Awful. And then we do it to ourselves again. We go to the next convention and
Yep.
we're like, this is good. I want more of this. And I've managed to build pockets into every single one of my costumes too, which is a big thing. So I always have my phone on me. Yeah.
Very, very smart.
Yes.
All right.
It only took 10 years of making mistakes to figure that one out.
Right. Yeah. It's, hey, you learn. We have one more picture that is amazing. And again, it is Samus.
It is Samus, because I do love Samus.
Yes.
Oh, this photo actually represents so much work because I made my first Zero suit out of like some kind of cheap spandex and I did it incorrectly, and I've made so many iterations of the Zero suit just because I couldn't get it right. I wanted to get this and perfect and stuff until I finally gave up and was like, I am just going to get a latex suit. I can't do this myself.
And for full body like suits, like something that Samus wears, latex, it's terrible, but it's amazing. Like the shine that you get from latex, and
like I hate wearing it just because like it's so uncomfortable. But I'm like, oh, I hate this, and I see a photo of myself, and I'm like, never mind, I love this. This is the best thing I've ever done.
I totally feel the same way. I'm a big lover of latex. I think I have maybe a solid like 10 to 12 cosplays of mine that are latex. And yeah, they're terrible. you know, you totally regret having them on. But like
Mhm.
you said, you see those photos and the
Gorgeous.
shine that you get from the latex and like the dimension, it's really, really awesome. Yeah, and
It's
that
so
photo is
good.
absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh,
It's very, very nice. All right.
very
Well,
good.
thank you for all those photos. Those are
You're welcome.
absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
Let's just I don't know, let's just talk more about cosplay. I wanted to ask you
Mm.
what based on all of these outfits and the photos that you shared with us, what's your favorite aspect of cosplaying? Like
Ooh.
what do you like the most when it comes to putting on or like playing a character or you know the photo shoots or the going to the cons or like
Mhm.
what's your favorite thing about it?
Ooh, tough question. There are
Yeah.
parts about the entire process that I really, really like. So it's hard to
Mm,
pick just one specific, but I think the like real aha moment for me is actually just like figuring out how to make something. Because
okay.
when I pick the characters that I like to cosplay, there's a combination of how much do I relate to the character, how easy is it going to be to become that character for the day or wear their clothing. Number one, and number two, physically possible. Can I wear this? Is
Right.
this a thing that can actually be on my body? And sometimes the answer to both of those questions is yes, and sometimes only one of the answers is yes, and it's a bit more of a challenge for me. And I
Right.
really, really love challenging myself with things that are difficult to wear.
Okay.
And so I'd say my favorite part is actually the manufacturing part of it, just like the finishing up at 3 a.m., putting it on for the first time and going, oh my God, I did it. That's like, that's it to me.
All right. So basically like the creative construction and figuring out all these problems.
I love finding solutions.
Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, I stress out about that a lot. Well, for me, I find that like I think I know the answer or I
Mhm.
think I know the best way to do something and I try it and I do it and then it fails.
Mhm.
And I get really stressed out. But then from that,
You learn.
sometimes you learn and all of a sudden I'm like, why this way is so much better. And I find that things like pop into my head
Mhm.
after screwing up. Um,
Mhm.
you know, I feel like I waste a lot of time and resources, but at the same time,
It's the
yeah,
best way to learn.
learning, yeah, exactly, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and then next time you make anything similar, it's just gonna go that much faster. Like, after I
right,
tackled the barrier suit, making any sort of armor at all was just like, "Yeah, I got this, that's fine. That's
right.
perfect." Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
Mhm.
I still want to do that full suit of Samus
Good
and
luck. It's not fun.
it doesn't look like it, you know. Even the shoulders, you know, like
Yeah.
those big balls on your shoulders. I will probably come to you and ask you how you manage to rig those
Yes, I can show
properly.
you how I
It's
do
just
that.
a lot. Like there's so many
Yeah.
characters that have these crazy big over the top shoulder pieces. And
Mhm.
that I feel like is one of the craziest because it's
Mhm.
just so perfect and round. It's
Mhm.
like how
How do you do that?
what's going on here?
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
then, like, I look at pictures of my build, and I look at the build itself, and I'm like, "Wow, I can do this so much better now than I did then.
Uh
So much better." So I'm gonna probably remake it at some point.
Okay, well, maybe we can have like a
We'll do
little
it together.
party.
It'll be good. Yeah.
A little party. All
Aw.
right. Well, another question, kind of similar, but not really. What
Okay.
would you say you prefer when it comes to like the types of mediums for cosplaying, like sewing or prop making or armor
Mm,
or like detailed work, you know, like whether it be like gorgeous jewelry pieces that maybe certain characters have or something like that. Like what do you
I
find most comforting
For
to
me, I think it's probably sewing just because I've been
okay.
doing it the longest. Yeah, for sure, I'd say it was sewing. Pattern making, sewing with any kind of material. That's like how I got into it at first. Like, it was
Right.
about 3 or 4 years of just fabric costumes before I even thought to touch like cardboard for my like original, like a sword or something. Oh yes, cardboard. I did that.
Cardboard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was years before I thought somebody decided to tell me, you can just cut up a yoga mat and that would make armor. I was like, whoa, I can? Okay.
Well, I mean, in general, the amount of resources that
Mm,
have come from cosplay expanding right? And becoming more mainstream. I mean, I still wouldn't consider it very mainstream, but
No, but definitely more popular than it was when I
yeah,
first started.
yeah.
Yeah.
The resources and the materials you can get to make
Incredible.
beautiful outfits is insane.
Incredible. Yeah. And I'm seeing a whole bunch of people coming into the scene now
Right.
that have all these resources. And part of me is a little bit jealous
I was
because
gonna
I'm like,
say, lucky.
where was Flex Bond when I was 16? Like,
Mm.
where was that? Like, where was Warbler? Where was any of this stuff? But at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be, you guys are gonna create some absolutely stunning pieces, and I'm
Right.
like thrilled. I'm like a proud mother almost. Like,
Aw.
I'm so proud.
It's true though. It's amazing how far the community has come, and even, you know, like cosplayers having their own patterns and their own shops online, and
Mhm.
you know, like Yaya, for example, has her sewing fabrics collection, which is
Yes.
crazy and like super cool, you
Amazing.
know?
Yeah,
So it's definitely it's pretty awesome.
good. That's good stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
I have a bunch of questions. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to ask you. Oh, okay. So again, it kind of goes along with it. From the beginning of your cosplay journey to now, what would you say has changed for you? Whether it be like the way you cosplay or how you cosplay, or you know, like say, I mean, we don't go to conventions now, but the rate in which you do cosplays or go to conventions or stuff like that.
Mm.
What's changed for you over the past 10 years since you have been doing this for so long?
Yeah, there's been quite a few changes going on, and how my relationship to cosplaying has changed over the past 10 years is a it directly relates to my life and what's
Mm.
going on then. So when I first started, I was like in the middle of high school, so I had like no money, but I had a lot of time, so I was
Right.
able to, but then as I got into like university and then college and stuff, and then till now as an adult, like my relationship changes depending on like the funding you have available, the time you have available, the space, and your skill level. So there was a time a couple of years ago when I had I wasn't in school. I had taken a bit of a break and I was working part-time, and I was living at home, so I had money and
Right.
time, and I went ham. So every single convention I went to, all over like the greater Toronto area and a couple in the States too. Like if I was able to go that weekend, I went. And I went with
Oh,
like 3
wow.
new costumes every time. Yeah, that lasted for about 2 years. I burnt myself out completely. Now I'll make a costume. I'd say my relationship to it now is very I've kind of found my place in it. So
Okay.
I love doing it, and I really love the friendships and the connections that I've made, but I also know that like there's so much for me to learn, and it's
Right.
like humbling to be around a lot of people. So I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I'm a lot more casual than I used to be with
Okay.
it. So I wear one convention usually. Like, whoa, I don't wear a convention. I lied. I wear a one cosplay for a convention. I'll maybe two if I'm like doing a group or something, but that's
Right.
it. I'm a lot more focused on being in the now with the costume that I'm in,
Mm.
and the environment that I'm in, the people that I'm with, more than the actual costume itself. So
Okay.
I'm more likely to shoot a costume and get content and get nice photos of it, and then just wear something else at a convention. But that, like, the journey to get to a more like casual, it took 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Right.
don't know if
So
that answered the question. I kind of just rambled, but
no, it's all good. It's no, man, don't worry. It made a lot of sense. It was
okay, good.
fabulous.
Thank you. I
So yeah,
tried.
no, because it yeah, I feel you there. I've kind of been the same way with going to conventions. I unless it's a very particular one, I'll go really hard with
Mm,
cosplays. For example, KatsuCon,
that's gone.
which a lot of cosplayers know as a convention that is beautiful because its
Mm,
hotel and its premises are
so pretty.
so gorgeous. So that's a convention that I tend to try to go really ham with new
Mm,
cosplays, like one or even sometimes two a day.
mm,
So I will go hard with like 4 or 5 cosplays
it's so fun.
because yeah, it's so fun. Oh, amazing. I
So great. KatsuCon is like the perfect example. Like the first two, I've gone to KatsuCon I think 4 or 5 times. The first couple times that I went, I didn't know what to expect the first time, so
right.
I brought one costume a day. The second time I went, I think I brought 8 costumes, and they
Oh
were
my
all like
goodness.
my biggest ones. I brought
Woo.
like I brought my Midna, I brought my Varia suit, I brought my Zero suit. I brought like everything that was either like recognizable or big and what I thought was impressive
Right.
and stuff. And then that's where I really got like a reality check in that like there are people that are like professionals and their work is astronomical, and I said, okay, I have two ways to take this. I can either take it as a you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, or something that you can slowly strive towards, and I chose the second one. So
Right.
now this past Katsucon in February, which as it turns out was the only convention I went to this year, I wore one costume. I brought one for the whole weekend.
Oh, wow.
And I had an incredible time because I was just able to walk around and hang out with my friends and talk to people and see everybody. It was great. So
Well,
good.
I definitely still brought, I think 4.
You brought a lot.
I brought 4. Yeah. But I also went to LA right after to shoot
True.
some outfits. So I over brought things and I tried to shoot them as much as possible just cause. But looking back, yeah, I'm very glad I went to Katsucon this year, not for just the photos and the beautiful content, but the fact that in February,
pre-COVID,
we did not know that this was going to happen. And I was fortunate enough to I was booked at a convention in March in Mexico City. And I got through that convention. It was extremely stressful because as that happened, that was the weekend that Disney closed down, that the borders started closing down, and I was in Mexico City. And my fiance's like, you need to come home right now. And I'm like, I'm working. I'm shaking hands with 10,000 people a day. I can't do anything.
Oh my God.
I'm just going to have to wait. If I'm forced to stay here, I'm forced to stay here, you know?
It was places to be forced to stay, I guess. Like Mexico, yeah, it's nice and warm.
It was fine. It was very stressful seeing everything going on in the world in that particular weekend and not being home. Yeah. But I will say I was so fortunate because I had planned Katsucon and then Mexico City, and I was going to work really hard on my garden this year. I hadn't booked anything else after March.
Oh, that
nothing.
Worked.
I was Katsucon, LA, went home for a week and a half, Mexico City, and then I was like, I'm done. I don't want anything else for the next month or so. I'm just gonna chill, see what happens. San Diego in the summer, E3, the normal. Yeah. But I was so lucky that I didn't have anything else booked.
Yeah,
because that was it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Really, and I know, I was like, wow, this is, how did I know this? Like, wow, good for me. But I know so many, I don't know about you if you had anything planned.
Like I kind of did. I had trips that I had to cancel, which was very unfortunate. I was supposed to go to Turkey.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh well. Right. Yeah. I was supposed to go to Turkey. There was lots of conventions all over Canada that I was planning on going to, and of course I had big cosplay groups for each of them that I was a part of. I was so excited. So I have like just around here, I have like half finished parts of it, and it's like I don't know when I'm gonna wear this again. I'm just gonna leave it.
Right. For me,
rest. So
yeah. For me, I had like 3 new cosplays for Mexico City, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot them when I get back. I'm gonna do cool things with them, and of course, like to this day, even. I've shot other things at my house and areas, but yeah, there are things from March that I have yet to shoot because obviously we couldn't book studios for a while. Their locations, like there's only so much I can shoot here at my house. So that greatly affected me. Actually like making certain content focused things for social media.
It's hard. Yeah, because it's kind of, there's not a lot that content creators can do when they're told to just stay home. It's like you need kind of, So I thought it was actually kind of inspiring how you were just like, all right, I'm going to just photo shoot in my garden. This is going to be great. We're going to make content. We're going to do our thing. And I'm like, you go, Holly.
I did. It was really interesting. The first week I was home after like Mexico City we redid my pond. We moved the pond and made it bigger. And I was like, okay, I can do a photo shoot around my pond for spring. Let's do it. So I literally, like you said, I just started revamping areas of my house and focusing on making them prettier in case, like, look what happened. We were literally, it's, what is it, 7 months later and we're still dealing with this, I was like, all right, well, this is it. I guess it's summertime outside vibes for a very long time. And I put aside certain cosplays that I want a very specific vibe for, just put them to the side, and to this day I'm still waiting to shoot them.
Yep, I have a
So
couple like that too.
right.
Yeah,
I
like
was
I've had I think 2 shoots this
mm,
summer. One of them was with you,
yes,
and that's yeah,
that's almost it.
it's about it.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was gonna ask you next actually, is
oh, okay,
how do you plan the majority of your shoots? Like,
okay.
are you very particular about your locations? Do you try to scout ahead of time? Like, what's your process of making a character, and then once you're done, going to shoot it?
So I'm a type of person that I'm 0 to 100 in like a second.
Oh,
So when I have the idea that I really want to make something, I want to shoot something, I want to do this costume, I try to get it done as soon as I can.
okay.
So recently, this has taken the form of making the whole thing in about 2 or 3 days, and
Ooh,
then yeah, I really should not do this to myself, but I can't stop. Make the whole thing in 2 or 3 days, and then I'll contact photographers.
mm-hmm.
So usually when I do something, if it's a costume, I know that I'm gonna have a hard time getting in and out of. It's gonna be a big pachka, whatever, to get into. That I call about 3 or 4 photographers, and I'm like, I will be at this spot at this time. If you show up, I will pay you for your time. And
Oh
then
no, that's
sometimes people
amazing.
do it. Yeah, people do it. So actually, the shoot that I got, that we had the picture of the Zero suit, I had actually rented out what's that? An escape room in Toronto that is spaceship themed. So I rented it out. Yeah,
Ooh,
and I had about 3 or 4 photographers come that day because I'm like, I am not putting this on so quickly again. So I need
right.
as many as I can. Yeah. So that's what I'll do. I am usually quite particular with where I like to shoot things. I understand
Mm-hmm.
like a lot can be done in post. Like there is a lot that can be done, tweak the thing, whatever. But I try to make as little work for my poor photographers as I can. And
Right.
so yeah, and certain spots are just like this is perfect anyway. Like I don't need to do much, and I'd rather wait. Like there's a couple costumes that like I am winter ones that I won't shoot in the summer, or things where it's like, oh, you know what, in this there's snow in the scene here, so I'm just gonna wait until it's actually snowing, and I have a
Yes.
photographer on standby, sort of thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm one of those people that's like very, very particular with who I shoot where and at what time. Which is one of the reasons why I don't produce content as much as I used to, is because like if
Okay.
I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it like, you know, right
Wow.
on. Yeah.
Right. No, and that's good. Because, and I have the same mindset, I feel.
Mhm.
I like real locations.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of too much being done in post.
Yeah.
Fixing things here or there, changing the lighting, whatever needs to happen. But for example, like, I just shot my Zelda
Mm.
again. Oh my goodness.
Again?
In February. No, in February, right before we went to
Pikachu?
KatsuCon, I believe. I was like, I
Mhm.
want to get this out of the way. Let's do it. Let's do it. We shot at 3 in the morning. It was freezing. I almost threw up. It was terrible, actually.
But the
But
shots though, they look good, right?
oh, amazing. And
Worth it.
our friend Bree was there. She did all my fire for me. So I had real fire torches that she
Oh,
lit for
amazing.
me, and it was nice because it kept me a little warm.
Yes.
But it was beautiful, and the photos looked absolutely stunning.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, I've come to kind of be the same way, and really try to go hard with real techniques, real special effects,
Mhm.
things like that. I don't know. I feel like it's more rewarding
Yeah.
doing it fully in a photo than just adding stuff later and having that experience too, you know?
Satisfying. Like to know like I got the perfect shot of my costume and there is nothing that could have made this better.
Awesome. I love it so much. Everything
Yeah.
about the process of from cosplay to, shooting it, finding the perfect location. Ah, it's so awesome.
It's so good. And you get such an incredible result at the end too. It's just
Exactly.
so good.
Awesome. Well, we are almost out of time. Um, One last kind of question before we wrap this up. Do you have anything that you're excited about next, that you're cosplaying in the works that you can share or anything like that? Halloween cosplays, maybe?
Halloween costumes. I have been
Mhm.
playing a ridiculous amount of Among Us recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we can expect something coming from me space themed in the next little while because I am big into that. I have my helmet kind of sitting over here. Haven't painted it yet. Haven't done anything
White.
yet.
Super
Yeah.
sus. Okay.
So sus, yeah. I'm gonna paint it purple, which is slightly less sus, but
Okay.
mhm.
Perfect.
That's when next my next plan, and then maybe remaking a few old favorites, updating it.
Okay.
That's what's up with
Right.
me. Mhm.
Okay. Very, very cool.
Thank you.
I haven't played Among Us yet, but I've already seen some people cosplay from it. Obviously, all the memes are really
So many.
hilarious.
There's so many
Yeah.
memes.
I think that's the cool thing about certain things is they just blow up so much.
Mhm.
And of course, people cosplay them and kind of get on the trend, but at the same time, like it's just fun.
It
It's
is.
very like impromptu, like photo shoots and characters, and
Mhm.
it's really cool. I feel because when you have cosplays in situations like that, everyone from the community kind of comes together all of a sudden and just like has a
Mhm.
really funny, like silly time.
It's
And I feel
amazing.
like,
It is
yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
Among Us is
Whether
very much like that.
it is, and it's all like, and what I love about it too is that you can play with all of your friends, like
Yes.
separate too, which is good. It's like kind of like Animal Crossing that way, where you can play with them, kind of.
Except instead of, isn't that interesting? The beginning of quarantine and in March when Animal Crossing came out, it was very like, oh, play with your friends, go to their islands, farm your
And now
garden.
it's
And
like,
now
all
it's
right,
like,
one of you will kill everybody. Like,
exactly,
just
who is the murderer?
yeah,
Kill your friends.
completely different vibes.
So
First one, we're all
funny.
like, yeah, this is fine, this is good. We're gonna lean into quarantine, and now everyone's like, I have to get out of here. This is awful.
Yes. Oh
Yep.
man, it's definitely been a ride, I would
Yes, it
say.
has.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Well, thank you again, Mickey, so much for joining us. This was so lovely to
Mhm.
have you.
Thank you. This was
Really
great.
quickly, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, on an Instagram at Baeged Cosplays. I'm also on TikTok and Twitter. Yeah, but the easiest way to find me is Facebook and Instagram. I am there.
Perfect. Amazing. That's thank you so much again for
Thank
coming.
you.
This was so lovely.
Mhm.
It was very awesome to chat with you.
Yes, it was
Thanks.
lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. And thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you stick around for future episodes of Cosplay Heaven. Thank you so much.